Good evening, kings and queens. It is Lakeisha Sheree Jordan again, and I want to take a moment to allow people to get on, to allow you guys to come in. And if you do not mind, if you're coming in, I would love for you to let me know exactly what part of the world you are tuning in from. My name is Lakeisha Sheree Jordan, and I am definitely looking forward to tonight's segment. For all of you guys that are just tuning in for the first time, I wanted to let you guys know ahead of time that every solitary Friday, you get an opportunity to be a winner here on the Real Raw Reality segment. So again, congratulations to, of course, last week's winner, which was Ralph Peterson. How are you, Ralph? Thank you for tuning in again. But today, actually, I started off, literally, I did this topic, and I knew I was going to be doing this topic today. And the way my day went today, I said, wow, this is so appropriate, because me, myself, I am personally drained today. Like, oh my goodness, I'm out of energy. So I figured I'd start off complaining to you guys, because the topic we will be discussing today is, what are you going to do about the things that come to you in life? What are you going to do about it? For everyone that is new, if your sensitivity level is on high, now would be the best time to check out, because reality is about to get raw. So for all of you guys that are checking in, do any of you guys know people that just constantly complain and complain? They never talk about how they're going to solve the problems. They just complain. If you know a complainer, let me get some thumbs up, some likes, some something. I think all of us can honestly say we know some complainers. That's first. However, the next time you come across a complainer, let them complain, let them rant, and then take a moment out and say, so what are you going to do about it? And a lot of times, because we get into a habit where we're just so used to listening, we might even engage in their complaining and, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. How could they? You know, but a lot of times we get so caught up in complaining that we're not even focused on the fact that there are absolutely solutions. Or if there are no solutions, because everything doesn't have a solution. So if there are no solutions, we definitely get into a position where we can change our mindset about the situation. We can do things that can pull us away from just constantly thinking in a negative manner. So although we can't fix everything, we definitely can change the way we think about it. But for me personally, I know I constantly am faced with different things coming from other people. And a lot of times, I don't know about you guys, but I do know for me, it's draining. It is very draining to have to always hear people, you know, complain about things. But when you guys get stressed out, I want you to think about how long you hold on to the negative emotions of this situation. Because when we're in the midst of things that are happening to us, a lot of times we're not thinking solution. And I don't know about you guys, but I know for a fact that when I'm frustrated, it is hard for me to focus on getting away from that feeling. And that can become a problem for us and for everybody around us, because many times we tend to take our feelings, our frustrations out on other people without even knowing it. So as we encounter things in our lives that are taking place, we want to start thinking, okay, this happened. What am I going to do about it? One of the things that was very impactful, and I've shared this with you guys in the past, but for those of you guys that don't know, 2016 and 2017 were extremely horrendous years for me. Starting in March of 2016, I lost my adopted mother. 2 months later, my adopted father. 2 months after that, my foster mother. 2 months after that, my biological mother. 2 months later, the father of my children. 2 months after that, my ex-mother-in-law. So for 2 months, I'm dealing with the emotional strain of death and the impact that it has on me, but being consciously aware that how I respond is going to impact everyone around me. And to be totally honest, by September, when my foster mother passed away, Gloria Hamilton, I was so done with death. Like, I didn't even want to hear about anybody else passing away. I was super sensitive to anybody's conversations about death because I was really trying to deal with my own emotions and not bring this energy to anyone. But I did take time out to say something has to give. So when my biological mother passed away in November, I said, I can't do anything to change this. She was battling cancer. She's no longer suffering. I'm doing this positive pep talk. You know, like, I have to remember that she's no longer suffering, trying to look for this, you know, all the positive sides to it. But when my girl's dad passed away in January, I think I was at my wit's end. Like, I really was at my wit's end. I was like, there is no way in heck, because of everything that happened with him and the fact that everything about his ailment was sudden. It wasn't expected. I was just like, no, I can't take any more. I'm yelling at God at this point. Like, Lord, come on now. What in the heck did I do wrong? Like, I'm really feeling like I'm a target at this point, even though I know it's not personal. However, I got so angry because these are things I couldn't do anything about. I got so angry that I sat down and I said, Keisha, what are you going to do about it? How can you use this situation to build yourself and the people around you? And it was with the death of my children's father, Riche Scott, in January of 2017, that I decided I was going to write my first book, At War with Thyself. Because Lord knows, for most of my life, I had continued to go through so many things. And I'm the type of person back then where I would just bottle stuff up. I'm fine, guys. And I know you guys know a lot of people that are usually fine, and then all of a sudden they explode and you're like, wait a minute, where did this come from? She was always fine. That was me. I'd much rather not bring people my negative energy, so I'm bottling up. But in this particular situation, I was like, something has to give. I got to release everything that I'm feeling. I have to get all this out. So I decided to put that energy into writing my first book. However, I tell everyone, when you are in a situation that is really eating at you, one of the things you want to absolutely do is have no less than 3 go-tos. 3 things that you can do that can actually restore your peace quickly. And this way, it allows you a chance to be stressed out, acknowledge that you're stressed out, but not live in that negative feeling. And so the reason I'm saying this is because, again, we don't realize how much of a toll having that negative energy takes on us until we find ourselves snapping at our loved ones, you know, possibly putting other people down, or, you know, taking it out on strangers. But none of that behavior benefits your situation. It doesn't change your situation. It doesn't do anything for the fact that you're going through what you went through. So I want us to always be mindful. When you have those 3 go-tos, one of them should always be something you can do no matter where you're at. For me, it happens to be music. I have my phone with me all the time. If I am really in a situation that's extremely tense, I'm going to throw on some music that's going to get me hype, get me back to that positive place. For some people, it might be art. It might be, you know, watching a movie, something. But you have to have those things that can allow you to hit that reset button to regain your peace. Because it's in that peace that the solutions start coming. Those ideas for how, if you can solve the problem, create a solution, how you're going to do it. And if you can't, it allows you that space, that mental space, to be able to say, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do with this information? How can this information impact me? I don't know about you guys. That's right. When you're at war with yourself. Thank you, Ralph. I don't know about you guys, but one of the things that I absolutely like to do that's very helpful is constantly check in with myself. And a lot of people are like, no, why would you be talking to yourself? I know when I was coming up, people would say all the time, you don't talk to yourself. You see people talking to to themselves, you're like, they're crazy. Well, one of the most effective things that you can do is actually speak out loud about what's going on with you. In the mental health field, it's called processing out loud, guys. See? Instead of saying I'm talking to myself, say, no, I'm just processing out loud. So I have a habit of saying, I'm actually beginning to get stressed out. You know, this is really frustrating me right now. I have to, whether it's read a book, listen to music, whatever. And as I'm saying these things, the moment I'm acknowledging how I feel and creating a solution to bring myself back down to a peace, the one thing that it does is allow me to be consciously aware of how I'm responding to everything around me. And because, of course, I love the fact that I have winners that are, constantly watching my lives, I want all of you to be aware that when you acknowledge how you feel right away, it doesn't matter if you're like, I'm pissed off. I need to should follow. No matter what's going on with you. I am feeling this. I need to. Because complaining about a problem over and over and over again does nothing more than constantly allow you to relive whatever that negative feeling is. If you're experiencing dealing with multiple deaths, or you're experiencing dealing with a breakup, it's okay to say, this person had the nerve to just leave me like I did something to them. But that conversation can also turn around and be, you know what? This might be a blessing in disguise. This might really be a blessing in disguise. Because a lot of times when we are in situations, especially when they're toxic, we get so used to what's happening that we tend to lose ourselves. And I don't know about you guys, but I've had that experience where I have literally been in relationships where I'm so fixated on trying to fix a problem when realistically speaking, we don't have the authority to fix other people. We don't do that. So in situations like that, it's not about finding a solution. It really is about coming up with an exiting strategy in order for you to be able to then regain your peace. So I wanted you guys to keep in mind when you are talking about, I should say. I'm not going to say complaining, because there's nothing wrong with discussing an issue. When you guys are talking about something that is riding your emotions, I want you to just be consciously aware of how frequently you're doing this. How frequently are you talking about the same topic? And a lot of times I've experienced this. I've spoken with people and they could be talking about something that happened right then and there. Make sure that when you're focusing on what's happening now, that you've already gotten rid of stuff that have really pissed you off from the past. Because I've been completely flooded at times with people explaining how frustrated they are with right now. And then they're talking about what somebody did to them 10 years ago. And I'm like, how did we get there, folks? It is, and this is why I'm telling you, it's very important for us to be able to have that communication with ourselves, to address the issues that are happening, and preferably as they are happening. You have to get into a calm space. And that is true. Ralph thinks that's a very good point. Some people are afraid to lose because they are scared of what they may gain. And okay, all right, not only are you right, Ralph, I'm absolutely guilty of that sometime as well. I've been one that's afraid to kind of step out there, or I'll see a situation because I don't like being combative. I hate being combative. But there are situations where I've learned I have to be assertive, stand up for myself, but do it in a manner that is not going to drain my energy or make the situation worse. And in the midst of doing all this, it makes no sense for me to rant to the person about what they're doing to me. They're aware of what they're doing to me. And for some people, maybe they are not. But to browbeat a situation does not change it. And it sure is not a way to create solutions. So, as you guys are in a position where you might be finding yourself constantly perseverating on an issue that's shaking up your emotions a bit, literally stop and say, wait, I know what this situation is. What am I going to do about it? That's right. We have to find a balance. Thank you, Ralph. What am I going to do about this situation? And if the answer is nothing, okay, how can I use this situation to help me build as a person? I remember one day I was driving with my children, and this is the perfect example of just being able to create a positive space in the midst of all things. I was driving with my children one day, and a vehicle runs a stop sign, literally cuts me off. I slam on my brakes because I was so close to hitting this vehicle. I'm angry. My children are in the vehicle, and I'm like, this stupid driver, blah, blah, blah. My son looks at me, he goes, Mom, calm down. You never know why that car cut you off. You never know why it cut you off. It's okay. And I'm like, yes, you're right. It's okay. We're fine. We just get up the road to a stop sign. I mean, to the light. And the truck in front of us is at the light waiting for it to turn green. Our light turns green. Another vehicle runs their red light, tries to turn into the street while another vehicle is coming in the same direction. The truck tries to avoid hitting the car, hits the vehicle that cut us off, literally damaged that vehicle, hit the driver's side. So I felt bad for the driver that cut us off. However, I still feel like there was some sort of divine intervention. Many times we won't have those results where we find out the why. That's perfectly fine. But we can start saying, how can I use this to help build me? And that's one of the most important things for you guys to remember. It is never about what's coming at you. It will always be about how you respond to it. If it's happening, what are you going to do about it? Complaining has never changed a thing. Sitting down, being able to come up with solutions and productive plans for what to do with it has definitely contributed to many people not only resolving problems, but also being able to utilize situations to help somebody else. Girl, let me tell you what I did with this situation. Or, man, look, when I was going through this with my girl, I did this, I did that. Or when I was, at this job going through this situation, this is how I dealt with it. You don't have that information to pass forward if you are not focused on solutions. So everything we find it's absolutely true. Nothing we will encounter in life, nothing will ever be without purpose. And everything, because life is a balance, just like you said earlier, Ralph, life is a balance. So everything that we are hit with, even when it appears to be negative, can still be turned into a positive. So I wanted to, again, take a moment out to just allow you guys to be more consciously aware of how you're communicating with yourselves. Because every one of us will go through things in life, but it's not about what we're going through. It's about what we're doing with what we go through. So if they come to you and they want to complain, ask them, what are you going to do about it? A lot of times it shut people up because they just want to complain. But it's the perfect time to brainstorm and either create solutions or see how this situation can be utilized in order for it to build you. So guys, what is your real raw reality? I really would love to hear if you guys have some stories, maybe about sometimes when you might have been that complainer, or somebody that complained so much you just stopped answering the phone or stopped answering the door because you just got tired of it. What's your real raw reality? I did not come to appease the world, because I know every now and again I might piss some people off, but I've definitely come to be a part of the solution this world needs to become better. Join me on Friday. I'm going to be picking another winner. I look forward to seeing you guys. Thank all of you for stopping in. I love you guys, and I will be talking to you in the future.